Hey guys, been quite a while since I've done a video, but definitely feel compelled to put something out there, just based on the light of events in recent weeks here in the United States. It seems that after what is it, about 20 months of war in the Middle East, specifically Gaza and Israel, the violence has come back home to the United States for American Jews, and that's extremely troubling. We knew kind of on October 8th there were these global chants, so ready, by the way, on October 8th. They were all so prepared, October 8th being October 8th, 2023, to globalize the Intifada. And now there's articles out there that you can read about, whether it's the Free Press or otherwise. I believe it's The Spectator by um, Jonathan Sacerdoti, is that this has truly come home. Um, Less than 2 weeks ago, there was an event at the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., in which a leftist, extremist leftist person affiliated with one of the socialist groups here in the United States gunned down a couple who happened to work at the Israeli embassy. He didn't know that they worked at the embassy. He was simply stalking and around the area of the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., looking for Jews to kill. And he screamed Free Palestine when he did it. As of yesterday, which today is June 2nd, so this would have been June 1st, there was a man in Boulder, Colorado, uh, a Muslim man, who firebombed a group of elderly folks that gathered on a weekly basis in order to show solidarity with the hostages that are in Israel. And this is the second event in the last 2 weeks. This is going to, I think, continue to escalate rapidly, and I hope that everyone is kind of getting prepared. And I think it's a huge mistake to kind of view this in isolation as only an issue for the Jewish people, even though it is. Going back to the old themes that I wrote about, um, as much as people want to act like this doesn't impact them at all, which I get it, you see something happening to a group that you're not a part of, you don't necessarily see the bigger picture and what is at play in the slippery slope that can occur here. So, what does this all mean? What does this all mean for us? It seems that these events coincide with the timeline of events of all of these libelous claims that have been made by legacy media, whether it was in line with the event that took place in Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago. There was a claim that 14,000 babies were going to starve, or 14,000 children were going to starve in Gaza. It never happened. It never was a threat. All of the mainstream outlets took it and ran with it and didn't write corrections when it never happened. Um, as of the last 2 days, we saw a headline come out that there were some Gazans that were attempting to get aid that were gunned down, with the media outlets portraying that as IDF forces, when in fact, when you dive deeper, it was Hamas that actually did that, throwing stones and or throwing rocks and shooting at the crowd, because whoever controls the aid in Gaza controls Gaza. So I just I don't I have a difficulty being able to understand, if even if I were an outsider looking in, I would be able to see this for what it is, but we simply have an inability to view this. Or is it maybe is it malicious intent on the part of these legacy media outlets, that they know what they're doing, they know that they're complicit, they don't care because they're in the business of news, and these headlines grab eyeballs, point blank and simple. They grab headlines, and that's what they care about. That seems to be where we are going. There is no concern about the validity of journalism, the accuracy of what they're putting out there. They don't write revisions to the stories that they put out, and it's extremely harmful. Um, I think it's just going to continue to play out this way. And this is kind of in line with like the larger umbrella theme that we've seen that Israel has been charged with over these these many months, these 20 months at war, is these claims of genocide. These claims of genocide, despite the rulings from the ICJ, despite the expert evidence from the head of urban warfare at West Point, who are authorities on these matters, they're still spreading this genocide, this fake genocide claim that has been debunked. People die in war, civilians die in war. You can't find me a war in which civilians haven't died. It is a tragedy. What is an even larger tragedy is the fact that we do not have any global leaders or mainstream media outlets or anybody that is influential in this space calling for the surrender of Hamas. Why have we not seen that over the last 20 months of war? Why did they never provide refuge to their people in the tunnels to begin with? Why did they force them to stay? What are we doing here? They could easily trigger the end of this war by surrendering and giving back the hostages, and we never hear that. We never hear anything about that. Why? It's the most logical, seamless way to end this war. Israel will not end this war with Hamas in power. It will never happen. And if it does, it means that they have been pressured and pressured to the tune of every nation, including their main patron nation, being the United States, turning on that fire hose towards them. So ultimately, we're tired. I can only imagine how the people in Israel feel, but American Jews, we're tired of this shit. I hope that everyone kind of gets themselves together, is at least aware of what's going on and the threats that persist, and that they make sure that they exercise their legal Second Amendment rights and do not leave yourself vulnerable in any situation, whether it's peacefully protesting, whether it's um, going to meet and be opposition to these groups. Obviously follow the law. That's what you should do. But especially when it comes to even protecting your home, protecting your children. Don't be reliant on the local police. They've proven themselves to be, while good intentioned, overwhelmed at times. So more to come. I'm absolutely disgusted at what I see, and I try to be very targeted with the things that I put out. And I did put something out today on my own personal social media. It's difficult, I think, for people that are not in this fight to actually care and understand it and see it for what it's worth. And we are never going to win that information war. It's never going to happen. So it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't put ourselves out there to do it. But our energies need to be focused on realigning to ourselves and our community and what we need and what we have to be aware of. And with that, I wish you all the best. Thank you.